Welcome to Carol and Gary's See America Tour. Hello again, everyone. Today is Monday, October 29th, 2018. We will be in Tucson for 3 more days before driving north to Apache Junction for the winter. Today, Carol and I toured the San Xavier Mission located 9 miles south of Tucson. San Xavier Mission was founded as a Catholic mission by Father Eusebio Kino in 1692. At that time, the area belonged to Spain. Father Kino began the foundation of a church that would never be built. He died 11 years later. Construction of the current church began in 1783 and was completed 14 years later. Mexico gained its independence from Spain in 1821. At that time, San Xavier Mission became part of Mexico. In 1854, the United States paid Mexico $10 million for a 30,000 square mile portion of Mexico identified on this map that later became part of Arizona and New Mexico. The United States wanted land necessary for a southern transcontinental railroad and were attempting to resolve conflicts that lingered after the Mexican-American War. The San Xavier Mission is the oldest intact European structure in Arizona. The church's interior is filled with original statuary and mural paintings. Today, although open for tours, the church retains its original purpose of ministering to the religious needs of its parishioners. The church is closed to tours during daily services. The majority of the parishioners are Tohono O'odham, which are American Indians of southwest Arizona. The priests at San Xavier wear one of 4 robes depending on the time of the year. Purple is worn during Lent and Advent. It symbolizes penance and fasting. Green is worn from Easter until Advent and after Christmas until Lent. It symbolizes hope. White and gold is worn throughout the year. It symbolizes glory and purity. Red symbolizes the Holy Spirit, Pentecost, and martyr. On Tuesday, October 30th, Carol and I drove 25 miles north of Tucson to see Biosphere 2. The Biosphere 2 facility is the world's largest Earth science laboratory. It serves as a laboratory for controlled science studies and a provider of public education. In 1984, Space Biosphere Ventures acquired the 40 acres of land on which Biosphere 2 was built. This privately held company began construction of the facility in 1986 to research and develop self-sustaining space exploration technology. Biosphere 2 sits on a 40-acre campus, but 3.14 acres of this, or 7,200,000 cubic feet of Biosphere 2, is under glass. It is sealed from the earth below by a 500-ton welded stainless steel liner. The facility cost $150 million to build and was completed in 1991. 2 missions between 1991 and 1994 saw crew members sealed inside of the glass enclosure to study human survivability over a long period of time. Fruit trees were planted before the experiment began, but crew members planted crops and raised chickens and goats to help with the survivability. These missions, although geared toward long-term survivability, developed research that helped further ecological understanding. Columbia University managed Biosphere 2 from 1996 to 2003 and reconfigured the facility for a different mode of scientific research. This meant a transition from closed system research to field-scale environmental research, including studies on the effects of changing carbon dioxide. By creating 5 separate ecosystems under glass, scientists are able to monitor the effects of a drought, for example, in a rainforest. They are also able to study the effects of global warming and other things. Large air handler systems provide control of the weather and climate. As recent as 2012, scientists have redesigned the area used to grow crops during the human survivability studies to be used for LEO, the new Land Evolution Observatory. LEO is made up of 3 elevated artificial landscapes, each with a slope of approximately 10 degrees and filled with a uniform depth of crushed volcanic rock. The slopes were built inside to study the evolution of landscape in the environment. Water can be sprayed over the slopes to mimic rain. 1,800 buried sensors monitor water, carbon, and the energy cycle processes. In the initial state, the landscape consists of more than 1 million pounds of crushed rock, which has a loamy sand texture. This initial condition will allow scientists to observe each step of this landscape evolution, from purely mineral substrates to living, breathing landscapes that will ultimately support microbial and vascular plant communities. The sensors enable monitoring of water, carbon, and energy cycling processes. Since LEO resides within the climate-controlled Biosphere 2 facility, researchers can perform manipulative experiments to examine how the water, soil, plant, and microbes respond to diverse scenarios of varying air, temperature, and rainfall. Also note in this picture that a gantry system built above the soil bed can allow people to move from end to end or up and down to avoid walking on and disturbing the soil. On Wednesday, October 31st, Carol and I visited a deactivated Titan II missile silo, approximately 30 miles south of Tucson. When we arrived, we received a 15-minute safety briefing about hazards we could encounter, then led to the area identified as number 1 on the screen. From here we followed our tour guide down several flights of stairs, identified as number 2 on the screen. At the bottom of the stairs we were in the blast lock area, identified as number 3 on the screen. Our tour guide pointed out 12-inch thick 3-ton cement doors to our left and right. She also pointed out that this area was suspended on springs and that there was plenty of slack in the cables. This was to prevent shock waves of a potential nuclear bomb near our location from knocking out the facility. We walked through one of these blast doors into what is identified as the Launch Control Center, which is number 5 on the map. 4 people worked 24-hour shifts in this missile silo, 2 officers and 2 enlisted people. 1 person could not launch a missile. Notice this file cabinet has 2 locks. Only the 2 officers knew the combinations to one of the 2 locks. Both people had to enter their code into this lock to get the cabinet to open. The codes needed to launch the nuclear missile were contained in the cabinet, but were still not enough to launch. After receiving an authorization over the radio, the 2 officers had to enter a top-secret code from the cabinet and then simultaneously turn a key located on the console where they sat. These 2 keys were approximately 7 feet apart, so no person was physically able to reach both keys to turn them simultaneously. If the keys were not turned simultaneously, the launch would be canceled automatically. The area shown as number 4 contained a small kitchen, a dining area, and military bunk beds so that the crew members could relax and eat while on duty. We were not taken through this area or Area 6. After touring the Launch Control Center, our tour guide took us back through area number 3, through another blast lock area, and then down a long underground walkway to the area listed as number 8. This was the only area of the missile that we were shown during our 1-hour tour. A 5-hour tour on Saturdays takes people down to see all 8 levels in the missile silo. After our tour, we were allowed to walk to the opening in the top of the missile silo. The nuclear warhead was removed and the blast doors welded half open when the silo was deactivated in 1982. This 102-foot Titan II missile has neither warhead nor fuel, allowing it to be safely displayed by visitors. But in its day, this intercontinental ballistic missile was capable of traveling 5,500 miles to its target. 54 Titan II intercontinental ballistic missiles were deployed in groups of 18 around 3 United States Air Force bases, with all 54 units coming on alert by December of 1963 in support of the Cold War. Russia and the United States had a nuclear strategy during the Cold War that discouraged an attack by the other side on the basis that such an attack would lead to the total destruction of the attacker, known as MAD, mutually assured destruction. Well, this wraps up our second week in Tucson, Arizona. We will be leaving tomorrow morning for Apache Junction, Arizona, where we will be hiding out from the cold and snow for the winter. If you like this video but have not yet subscribed, please do so to be notified of future videos, and feel free to share with your friends. Thanks for watching.